Welcome back to The Explainer. Grab your detective hats because today we are opening a truly fascinating, though honestly deeply tragic case file. We're launching a full-scale dramatic investigation into a highly coordinated extortion plot. Think about it. What actually happens when a pristine, squeaky clean reputation collides head-on with the gritty, calculated underworld of a VIP nightlife scene? Well, in this explainer, we're diving into the exact anatomy of the betrayal that brought down a wholesome fruit. We're going to reconstruct the timeline, analyze the motives, and break down the precise mechanics of a trap that was sprung with literally devastating efficiency. Let's get into it. I want to drop you right into the middle of a hazy, chaotic living room with this chilling quote. Just picture the scene for a second. There's a bright, sudden flash of a camera phone piercing through this thick, sweet-smelling smoke. You're completely disoriented, your limbs feel like mushy, overripe fruit, and standing right across from you is someone you thought was a friend. She casually tosses her hair and says in this smooth, completely sober voice, "Just capturing the memories. You said you wanted to live a little, right?" Wow. This wasn't an accident, folks. This was the exact moment the trap snapped shut.
All right, let's start our investigation with Section 1, the scene of the crime.
Okay, let's dive into this chaotic environment. To really understand how this extortion plot worked, we have to do a forensic breakdown of where it all went down. You see, this wasn't just a regular party. This was a VIP twilight zone. The living room belonged to Pineapple Lisa, and the atmosphere was purposefully intoxicating. I mean, the room was spinning like a blender at high speed, filled with this hazy, sweet-smelling smoke. And look at the layout of this operation. You've got Pineapple Lisa and Mushroom Marv up on a second-story balcony, casually sipping Chardonnay, looking down at the crowd like they're watching an exotic fruit display. Meanwhile, the ground floor is just packed with a wild cast of characters. We're talking a banana woman, a broccoli man, a carrot and radish in blue chairs, an orange, a green onion, the whole shebang. It was entirely designed to be overwhelming, ensuring that anyone not used to this lifestyle would get totally lost in the juice.
Moving right along to Section 2, the innocent mark. Look at the stark contrast here, because this is exactly what made her the perfect target. Just 24 hours prior to this, Strawberrina was a wholesome, church-going strawberry whose idea of a wild Friday night was literally organizing her seed collection. Right? She stepped out in her innocent little red pumps, just looking for a fun night out with a girlfriend. But cut to the club, and she's completely, utterly lost in the juice. The perpetrator strategically deployed the Cucumber Man, who is described as cool, crisp, and refreshing, to keep her distracted and intoxicated. He turned her limbs into mushy, overripe fruit so she couldn't even defend herself. Now, what is incredibly important to note in our investigation is the victim's own stance here. Strawberrina doesn't make excuses, she takes full 100% accountability for her actions. She openly admits that under the influence of the environment and that Cucumber Man, she completely forgot her safe routines. She deeply, deeply regrets wanting to live a little because abandoning her wholesome lifestyle is exactly what opened the door to this tragic situation. She owns her mistake, but as we'll see, the punishment orchestrated by her so-called friends went way, way beyond a momentary lapse in judgment.
Which brings us to the turning point. Section 3, the photographic trap.
Let's move our investigation forward to the absolute climax of the night. The smoke begins to clear just enough for our victim to realize what is actually happening. Here is the physical evidence of the trap being sprung. Potato Keisha was sitting across the room on a couch, tightly wedged between the massive broccoli stalk and the energetic banana. But here's the thing. Keisha wasn't partying, she wasn't high, she wasn't woozy. The source material specifically notes her eyes were sharp, calculating, and cold as an industrial refrigerator. She whispers to the broccoli, gives this subtle coordinated nod to the Cucumber Man who, remember, is still compromising Strawberrina, pulls out her phone and bam, the flash goes off. This was a synchronized hit, no doubt about it.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks down the mechanics. This wasn't some random crime of opportunity. It was a mechanically precise four-step operation. Step 1, gain trust. They lured her in by recommending the Wacky Produce Club. Step 2, intoxicate and distract. They used the chaotic environment and the Cucumber Man to totally incapacitate her. Step 3, the photograph. Keisha, entirely sober, captures the exact compromising moment. And finally, Step 4, extortion. Using that photo as leverage to demand payment. It is a textbook, perfectly calculated takedown.
Let's peel back the curtain in Section 4, the masterminds unmasked.
So we know how the trap was executed, right? And we know Potato Keisha pulled the trigger on the camera. But in any good detective investigation, we have to follow the money and ask the ultimate question. Who was actually pulling the strings? Who lured Strawberrina out of her comfortable Friday night routine and into this VIP twilight zone in the first place?
Let's look at the evidence that walked right through the front door just seconds after the camera flash went off. The mastermind is revealed, Tamarind. She is the so-called friend who initially recommended the club, but she was suspiciously absent for the entire night. Literally nowhere to be found until the exact moment the trap was completed. She walks into this chaotic, spinning living room looking completely fresh and totally detached from the madness. She carries this sharp, acidic scent and a sour expression that perfectly matches her name and her intentions. She orchestrated this entire betrayal from the shadows alongside Keisha and Pineapple Lisa.
If we needed hard proof of their conspiracy, this exchange is the smoking gun verbal confirmation. Tamarind walks right past our disoriented victim and goes straight over to Potato Keisha. Keisha hands Tamarind a thick envelope, the ultimate proof of their illicit transaction. Tamarind asks, "Is the strawberry fully blended?" And Keisha, tapping her phone screen with a wicked grin, replies, "Baked, juiced, and caught on camera." Boom! The betrayal is complete, bought and paid for right in front of the victim.
So the crucial point is the motive. Why target a wholesome fruit who just wanted to organize her seeds? Well, Tamarind gets uncomfortably close, smiling this venomous smile, and lays it out plain and simple. Your squeaky clean image is about to buy us a whole lot of green. They didn't target her despite her pristine reputation. They targeted her absolutely because of it. In their gritty underworld, innocence is just another commodity. It's something to be exploited and extorted for cash. Her pristine life now belonged to them.
And that brings us to our final act, Section 5, the bitter arrest. Let's move to and see how this builds, because this final phase is absolute chaos. The flash goes off, the thick envelope changes hands, the extortion is declared. But suddenly, Event 3 happens. A massive commotion erupts between Keisha, the banana, and the broccoli. The perpetrators totally panic. Keisha runs out. The cucumber man gets up and sprints after her. Tamarind, looking genuinely shocked, flees as well. The orchestrators completely abandon ship. And what does Strawberrina do? Still disoriented, but still fully accountable, she slowly begins looking for her purse just so she can get herself together and leave. Time almost slows down here, because the exact moment she finds her bag, police officers rush the room. They bypass the fleeing masterminds, grab the victim, and pull out a set of handcuffs.
The masterminds fled into the night, leaving the innocent Mark holding the bag. She owned her desire to step out of her comfort zone, but wow, she paid the ultimate price for it, getting caught in a carefully engineered web of extortion. So I leave you with this. Will Strawberrina's pristine life ever recover from those handcuffs? Or is she permanently blended by the very system she thought she was just visiting for one single night? It's a chilling reminder of how quickly a single lapse in judgment can be weaponized against you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes sharp, trust your instincts, and never ever forget who's in the room when the cameras start flashing. Catch you next time.